Hey, David here. In this video, I'm going to break down how to get set up with Claude Code, regardless of what your use case is, from 0 to 1. So after you've already downloaded Claude Code, you've installed it to your computer, you might be asking yourself, well, what's next? What do I do? And if that's the case, this video is made for you. So it doesn't matter if you are an agency owner, you're an account executive, or you're building the next unicorn app. Claude Code serves as a layer to 10x your productivity. And for that reason, I'm going to break down 3 files that everybody could benefit from in this video. So why don't we just get started? I always like to share some diagrams because I'm a visual person, and who doesn't like visuals, right? The 3 files that we're going to get set up with, one is a save context command. It's a slash command. Number 2 is a resume command. And the third one is a status line bar. By the way, guys, I'm actually going to give you the demo first. So continue watching if you want to see how it looks. After the demo, I'm going to break down why it's important. But if you want to skip straight into the tutorial, you could just use the timestamps in the description. And you know what? I'm actually going to do it right now just to show you guys a demo. So we hit that threshold. I like to hit, I'm going to zoom in just one more time, I want to make sure you guys can see this. So I'm going to hit slash save context. And then Claude is going to read through my entire conversation. It knows its use case, its purpose, what's important within this project folder, and it's going to cherry pick those specific things. It's also going to archive everything. So technically nothing gets deleted because I have an archive folder, and then it's going to save it into my own session context.md that lives within the root of the project. If you don't have this set up, how context typically gets saved when it auto compacts is it actually gets saved in a .tmp folder, which isn't project specific. So this kind of lives across all of your Claude Code instances, and it can get muddled, which is why I prefer to save it inside the session context.md at the project root. Okay, great. So then we have the context saved specifically for YouTube. So this is specifically for the YouTube section. Now this content project folder that I work in, it serves more than just YouTube. It actually has my blog, my personal site, my personal brand, my LinkedIn, my TikTok, anything content related. I'm going to hit clear. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. I'm going to hit clear. So now it cleared the whole thing. And then you can see my status line has been reset. So now it's back down to 0. And then I'm going to hit resume. Now there's 2 resumes here because on default, Claude Code already has a resume slash command, and it's this one, resume a previous conversation. But I can see in the description the restore context after /clear. That's the one that I developed, so I just use that one. If you think you might get mixed up, I would consider renaming it something else like revive or restart, something like that. So I'm going to hit resume with the slash command that I built, and then you can see that it's reading the session-context.md that lives at the project root. And then we have everything that's dated for us, and it's an overview on what we're working on. So not only do I have TikTok, I also have LinkedIn here. I have my school community, I have my blog, and then I have my general section. So that's the beautiful thing, is I could just pick up exactly from where I left off based off of these sections, and it's like 0 context loss. I don't have to spend time explaining anything, and I can just get right to work. So that's what I'm going to be building and showing you guys today. So all these 3 commands, they work together, but you might be asking yourself, what's the point? Like, why are these important? So if you aren't familiar with Claude Code yet, the way that it works, after some time, you may notice that the context or the output quality may degrade after a long conversation. And the reason for that is because every single LLM has a context window, which is a range of tokens that they can use before they hit a limit. And the way that Claude Code works, we have a 200,000 context window limit. And what happens as you're using Claude Code is once you hit a certain threshold, it's going to auto compact, which means that Claude will just read your entire conversation, do its best to summarize it, and then start you fresh with a new session. Now, the problem with that is that this is just the default feature. And so it's not really looking for anything particular based off your use case. So you might be losing things that fall through the cracks every time you allow Claude Code to auto compact. So without this setup that I'm sharing with you, what typically happens is you have your new session, you explain a project from scratch, finally gets context. So not only are you explaining yourself, wasting tokens, but by the time you actually start working, what happens is you may hit that context threshold again, and then you get auto compaction. So that's the problem that we have. But with this current setup, they all work hand in hand. What your new process would look like is once you open up your project folder, you can just get to work immediately without even having to explain much of your process. And you just watch the status line. It's a bar that is below your chat window that tracks all of your context. So once you hit I recommend around 60%. That's when you actually want to hit the slash command to save context, and then you can start fresh after you clear manually. And then we just resume. And the money here is when we hit resume, the way that we've set up our resume command is that Claude is going to read a specific file where we save clear snapshot because of the instructions that we've given it with these commands. So now going over to the status line, this is what it looks like. So I actually have a couple of instances running right now. At the bottom, I have a status line for all of these. So you can see the status line right here, and even right here, and then even down here. So you can see this one at the bottom, it's like yellow. That's because I'm coming up on that threshold. To be honest, context raw begins at around 100,000 tokens. And so I highly recommend that you save context around the 60% mark. So why don't we get started in a fresh section? Okay, so I have a new anti-gravity window here. I'm gonna open a folder, and then I'm gonna choose Claude.demo. So this is a completely blank folder. You can see I just clicked on it. There's nothing in here. Now, before we get started, in order for your slash commands to work optimally, we're going to need to develop a Claude.md file, and that's what I'm going to help you guys do in this video as well. So let me just zoom in and set up my window the way that I like to. I like to zoom in a little bit. I get rid of all the extra things on the side. Let me close this. Let me zoom in one more time, and then I'm going to access Claude. So I'm going to do Claude -- dangerously skip permission. And then I'm going to hit yes, I trust this folder. So this is perfect for you if you've already downloaded Claude, but you have nothing set up yet. Nothing at all whatsoever. Regardless of, doesn't matter who you are, this can help you 10x your leverage. Now, here's what I'm going to share with you guys that it's going to be available inside the school community. It's going to be a Claude starter kit. So inside this folder, we have a bunch of different files. I believe there's 7 files in here. So we have the status line script that actually gives you the script that I just showed you to build that status line that you can customize with all these nice colors and whatnot. We also have the status line setup.md that goes hand in hand. We have the save context.md and the resume.md that break down what these skills are and what the slash command does. And then we also have a questionnaire that I'm going to help you guys fill out. If you fill out this questionnaire and then paste it along with this prompt here, you're going to have Claude generate a Claude.md that's perfect for you, made just for you, and that you can start building within Claude to actually unlock that leverage, regardless if you aren't building an app or you don't run your own business. Even if you're just an employee at a company, you can get this leverage if you just understand these concepts. So let me break down what a Claude.md is before we actually create one. So a Claude.md lives at the root of every single project folder. And so all of my Claude project folders have a Claude.md, and it's the identity or the soul of Claude. It gives it its purpose as to who it is and why it's trying to help in what way. And so I have a couple of examples of what different projects might look like, but the common denominator here is that the Claude.md folder, or the file rather, lives at the root of the project folder. So let's say you're an agency, you have Claude.md here, and your Claude.md will probably say, hey, we service clients for outbound services, and the structure of these folders are clients, and inside the client folder we have different clients, and then inside the client folder themselves, we have their assets, their websites, their specific campaigns. We have a readme.md on the clients that break down who they are, what their product is, and how we speak to their audience, right? And then we have an execution folder that has all of our scripts. Maybe it's specific to outreach or reporting. And then with these new skills, you guys should have a session-context.md also living at the root of the project folder. So let's say you are a content creator. It's going to be the same thing. You have your Claude.md, you have your skills, but then maybe instead of clients, you're going to have YouTube, you'll have LinkedIn, you'll have scripts, and then nested inside those folders, you'll have production, you'll have thumbnails. For LinkedIn, you'll probably have case studies, or you'll have anecdotal stories for valuable posts, things like that. And then if let's say you're an account manager, it's the same use case. I actually have a friend of mine. We used to be roommates, funny enough. And I don't know how the conversation came up. You know how you're like, you have friends and you'll maybe send memes to each other. You haven't seen each other in years, but you send memes on Instagram or something. Yeah, the relationship's kind of like that. Somehow, some way, Claude came up and they sent a photo of them using Claude Cowork, which I thought was really cool. So I said, oh, you're using Cowork. That's amazing. Like, you're probably already ahead of most people. But I said, if you really want extra leverage on top of Claude Code work, you should get Claude Code. And his response to me was, yeah, I heard a lot of great things on Claude Code, but I really don't have a use case for it. And I found that hilarious because that just lets me know, I guess the stigma behind Claude Code is that you need to be some sort of vibe coder or an app builder in order to use it. But the truth is that anybody can use Claude Code. It's literally an agnostic tool that anybody can use for their use case. And so I kind of want to break that stigma with this video. So we're going to take his persona and we're actually going to build our Claude.md with this persona. So now that you understand what a Claude.md is, going back to our anti-gravity space. So here we are inside the empty Claude Code project folder. Now, like I had mentioned to you guys, I'm going to include all these inside my school community. You can just join, it's completely free. And inside, if you just follow the questionnaire and then paste your answers inside the generator prompt, you're going to get a Claude.md specific to your use case. Open these up real quick. Hopefully you guys can see. Let me zoom in. So you can see if we open up the questionnaire, there's 7 questions for you guys. It literally answer it to the best of your ability. I would say maybe 2 to 3 sentences per question. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take all these answers and you're going to paste your answers inside the generator prompt, which is right here. I'm going to zoom in as well and show you what that looks like. So we have the prompt, and then you're just going to paste your answers here. So your business type, your core offer, the tools that you use daily. It doesn't matter if you're an agency owner, you're an app builder, you're an employee, you're an account manager, you're a banker. It really doesn't matter. You work at a tax firm. You could just paste your answers in here and it's going to help you create your Claude.md. So like I had said, we are going to use the persona of my buddy, and then I'm going to paste this in here. I already have the answers generated. And then what Claude's going to do is it's going to read this whole thing and then generate a Claude.md. And just to clarify or send the point home, a Claude.md is a file that lives at the project root that Claude reads every single time you start a new project. So it reads it, it gets a fresh understanding of what the structure of this project is, where everything belongs, where to reference new files. That way, when you prompt it, you can prompt as specific as you want. Okay, great. So it looks like the Claude.md has been created at the project root. So the project overview is we are a wholesale agency account manager across 15 designer accounts focused on automation and nothing falling through the cracks. So we have the clients, we have the scripts, templates, data, and configurations, the API keys, and Google Sheets, the Google Sheet ID. Cool. So the 3 workflows that it's trying to suggest to me right now is weekly report generation, new retail partner onboarding, and account status review. That sounds great to me. And if I was an actual account manager, I'd probably begin chatting with Claude Code to see how I can actually implement these in a low friction way so that I can actually improve my productivity. But right now, what we're going to do is we're actually going to create the save context and the resume / commands in here. That way we have everything that we need to be even more productive. So from here, after you download the resources in my school community, you can simply just go to that download inside the Claude Starter Kit, and then you can take the resume.md and the save context.md and drag those over inside the root of your project folder. So that's what I'm going to do. I've opened up the project folder in a separate tab. Cool. So we can see our Claude.mds in here. And I'm going to drag these to the resume.md and save context.md. And then I'm going to paste it inside the project root. So now if you go inside the project root, here it is. Now we have these 3 files so far. So if you're following along, you should have a total of 3 files. Okay, great. Now, once the files are in there, you're just going to let Claude know what you did. So I'm going to tell him right now, hey, I just dropped a save context.md and a resume.md into the project root. These are / commands. I want you to set them up inside the as commands so I can use / save context and / resume. Bam. So it looks like it's reading the project root. For some reason, it's trying to tell me that the files aren't there, but they definitely are there. Oh, see, the files are there, their name, save context. Okay, cool. So he's going to read both of them, and then we're going to turn them into / commands. Okay, perfect. And then now Claude's letting me know that the / save context saves my session context before I clear. It auto detects my categories, archives previous versions, and tracks what we were working on, decisions made, and files touched, and the next step. which is perfect. And it's going based off the Claude.md. It's not going based off of, it's not auto categorizing these things. It's read the Claude.md and it understands we're a agency wholesale account manager. And so we're reviewing certain things for certain clients and we're double checking reports, things of that nature. Same thing with the resume. It reads the session-context after we clear, and it'll give us a summary of everything that's been saved, sorted by the most recent. It'll ask us which one do we want to pick up off from. Okay, so after you've successfully installed your skills at the project level, you're going to want to close your Claude Code and then reopen it. That way that the skills can actually register. So I actually didn't do that, and I created more than one skill at the project level and as well as the user level. So I got rid of the user level because I only want to focus within one project at a time. And so now if I do /save context, you can see the save context is right there. I'm going to hover my mouse over it, and then I'm actually going to zoom in just so you guys can see a bit better. But yeah, the save context with a description before /clear project, I'm going to hit that. But you can see this is my first time running the / command save context. And so it's asking me what categories I want for my session context. So I'm going to do auto detect in this case. So once Claude actually finished saving this context, you can see that it created a category for configuration, because that's what it auto detected based off of our entire conversation. But how are you going to know when to actually save? That's where the status line comes in. So right now we don't have a single status line. Your Claude Code probably looks like this, where all you really have is Shift Tab to go between the type of modes. So that's why I'm going to show you how to build the status line right here. So you can see this pink, that's going to be the model that we're using. Then we have the actual bar right here that loads as the context window progresses and gets filled. Then we have our percentage, which is just a different version of the status bar. And then we actually have a count of the usage. So out of the 200K window, you'll see how much we've actually consumed. And then we have some cost usage here, but I'll remove that. I don't want to confuse you guys, especially if you're already on the pro plan or the max plan. This kind of becomes irrelevant. I went past my usage limits because I'm on the max plan and I was just using extra usage that I already had built on my account. Then you have your folder right here. So this would be your main branch, but I don't have my project folders connected to Git, so it just stays as main for me specifically, but if you're building an app, that might be different. And then we have the project folder that we live in. So that's going to be all the way to the right-hand side. And you can configure these however you want. You can reorder them. You can change the color. You can, pretty much build it however you want it to look. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back in here. I'm going to open up my Finder. And so I'm going to go back to the Claude Code Starter Kit. And I'm actually going to copy the status line.sh and then move it over to the Claude-demo. Just try that. Cool. So now that it's over there, let me just open this up as well. So what I'll do here is I'll actually do the same here. So I'm going to move the status line setup in .md in here as well. And then I'm going to just tell Claude, hey, I just dropped a status line.md file and a status line.sh file. I want you to analyze both. And then I want you to build my status line based off of these files on a global level. Ask any clarifying questions if needed. Cool. So then I'll send that over. And then what you'll see is Claude is just going to get to work. You're just going to let Claude handle it from there. It's going to check if JQ is available, make sure everything that we need is installed. If not, just allow Claude Code to install it. And then once it's done, we're probably going to need to restart Claude Code. So I'm just going to hit bypass permissions. I trust it. I know that it's going to be fine. So it's still working. Perfect. So it's all done. Here's what's set up. And I didn't even need to restart my instance. So the script, it copied the one that I already have, I provided. And then in the settings, it used the configuration that was in the .md file. So perfect. It's all ready for us to use here. So, hey, thanks. This looks great. And then you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to save context. Why not? So that's pretty much everything that you need, guys. So you have the end of your build. If you go to your project folder, what you'll have here is your Claude.md, your resume.md, your save context. You'll have the status line script, pretty much everything. So I think, perfect. So I think from here, if you want, you could say, hey, read my Claude.md. And after you read my Claude.md, do a comprehensive audit of my folder structure, and ensure that the structure is aligned with that. So the reason why I'm telling Claude this right now is because I'm taking a look and all these files are just kind of all over the place. The .archive, the .claude, and the .git, those are technically hidden files, but I like to keep the hidden files open so I can see. So yeah, from here, what Claude is going to do is it's giving me an audit, and it's telling me that these are the things that it would like to build inside my folder based off the Claude.md. So we've already outlined these things inside the Claude.md that we generated earlier in this video. And so it's telling me, do I want to scaffold these into a full directory structure like the Claude.md describes? So I'm just going to say yes. And then that way, if we go inside our project folder, it's going to be all cleaned up and it's not going to have all these random files just at the root. So I'm going to let Claude handle all that, and then we'll see what the final result is. So you can see Claude is actually building out a template for the weekly report, the onboarding, some Google Sheets configurations, workflows. And so it's still working. But just so you guys understand, if I didn't make this clear already, what these new / commands allow you to do, they allow you to work and watch context at a glance. Once you hit that context usage right there, then what you're going to want to do is you're just going to want to hit / save context. It's going to save everything in your session, context.md at the root. You hit a clear command, you resume, and then you go right back to work. And there's no interruptions. There's no having to get Claude up to speed. There's no loss of quality. It all lives right there for you. So let's see. Everything looks like it's all done. So why don't I open up my Finder and take a look at the project folder now. So now it has all these folders, which look great. I'm just going to clean them up real quick. Clean up by date created. Sure. Perfect. So now we have our Claude.md that lives in the root. You can see it right here. And then we also have our session context.md that should live in the root. And then those skills that we created, they're going to be in the .claude folder, and here's skills, because that's where they belong. So that's there. Everything's all organized, and then you can just start building. So whether you're building the next app, you're an agency owner, or you're a business owner looking to implement these agentic implementations, you can grab everything inside my school community. It's completely free. Or if you want me to build a system for you, you can book a call in the description link below, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Thanks.